Alright, here we go. Ezra, you still with me? Okay.
Are you still gonna record this though? Are you still gonna record this?
I'm recording it now. Okay, so with for loops. So this vocab is very important because I will put it will be like a multiple choice question. A while loop is a condition-based loop. That means when it repeats because of a condition. A for loop is a count-based loop. Count-based loops means it will go around a certain number of times. It has to be a defined number of times or a defined set of things. So I can say for every number from 1 to 10, say the numbers. I can say for every student in this class, display their name. Does that make sense? So there's a certain number I can know how long my code or how many times my code will iterate with a for loop. I don't know how long it will with a while loop. So in order to create a for loop, you type in for. Notice how it changes color. Space. This variable is important. For the time being, I'm going to use X. You guys should not use X. Well, for now you can, but so use X for X in something, colon. This something could be many things. It has to be iterable. That word iterable is also very important. And I'm going to mark that in here because you will get errors that say that is not iterable. Print at the bottom of it X. So this is all you should have right now. I'm going to save it. If you run it, it's going to break, so don't do it. Yeah, if you run it, you're going to get a syntax error. Or yeah, name error. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to have it run 5 times. Now if you type 5 in there and you run it, you're going to get this error. Int object is not iterable. In the number 5, how many times can I go through 5? That's a really weird question. Yeah. Another way to think of it, how many things make up integer 5?
5 things.
No, 5 and 5. Here's 5 goes into 5.
The difference is, so here's 5. I can say how many letters make up hello.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like just like one integer.
It needs to be essentially a collection of things. You can't just have 5 because what makes up 5?
5 makes up 5.
No.
One.
Right, but can I go through 5?
No.
What in 5 can I separate 5 out?
Yes.
No, I can't. In math, if this were math, yeah, I can say 2 and 5. Not 2 and 5 is 5, but 2 and 3 is 5. But in coding, 5 is its own thing, right? It's its own singular, it's 5. It's not made up of letters. It doesn't include a range of numbers. It's not 5 is not the same as the numbers from 0 to 5. Right? 5 in and of itself is not the same as all of the numbers from 0 to 5.
Wait, what about 4 and 4? Like that.
What about 4 and 4?
4 has 4 letters, but 4 is also like.
Yeah, I mean 4, I could do that. Oop. Actually, I don't need range in that one.
What? What?
This is why it has to be iterable.
What? How does this work?
Why is X 4?
So let's run through this. 4. For x in 4, print x.
But why does it type 4 then?
Because that is what iterable means. It means essentially a variable can take a variable can take on a value of a part of something that's iterable.
It's like
This is so strange.
So if I said for every student in class, high five or whatever.
Can you give us like a practical, like this is how you use it type thing?
How many times do you want this code to loop?
4. Why do you
For x in range 5, print x. It starts at 0.
I
So
just know how it works, because otherwise, like, it doesn't make sense.
what
Like, how does it, like what is, like, so, like, before x in range 5, so, like, I kind of get the 5, like,
so range of 5 it means the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The number range is that's a command that finds all of the numbers from 0 to 4 because coding starts at a lot of stuff in computers start at 0.
so, like, when you do in range 5, it's going to start with 0, and it's going to...
And it's going to go to 4. How many numbers is that?
5.
Right. So if I didn't put x and I print, it's now going to print hello 5 times.
Can you like specify the range? Like go from like
I can. We'll get to that.
So then what does the x do for 4x? Like, what does that represent?
That is how you do something x number of times. Let me see if the book says something a little better.
It still doesn't make it.
But if you do range, you only print the numbers. You won't print actually 5, right?
it won't.
No, if you want to print 5, it's print 5. Okay.
No,
Should you just do +1?
It does not give me a good example or a good way to
So,
say
in
it.
other words, the dude that makes Python.
Is there any way you could do it so it's 1 or 5? Like by doing +1 or something?
Yeah, I could do print x plus 1.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, that's better.
I like that.
You can also do
Okay, so it's basic. Is it kind of assigning values to 5? Or sorry, assigning values to x?
it does. It assigns values to x every time it loops through.
Oh.
So practical example of this is
It's starting to make more sense, but it's still weird.
Peter, give me a number.
4.
We can keep done before. So I can why and now I explained it.
Time you've guessed.
Really? You like? I like calculator.
Oops. So I could do x. So this is the fit. So this is how you can keep track of the number. You can display the number of times the user has done something. You can also not necessarily keep track is how many times have you gotten this wrong. This is the 6th time because it has a certain number of times it can run through. It has a certain set of numbers. It's a certain set of objects that the code runs through. So if I wanted to have, so for example,
So it loops back around every time it's done, and then it breaks after the set number of times.
yes. So ignore this for now. So we're gonna go. So this is a list of everyone in class, well, the 5 people in class. Okay. Again, guys, ignore this for a second. Just pay attention up here. This is a collection of names, right? So I can say, what makes up names? Right? The variable What is inside of names that we can run through? Well, I have Stockton, Mikey, David, Brendan, Josh. Unlike 5, what is in 5 that I can run through?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's just 5. It's not iterable. So what you can do is you can say for X in names, I can print the grade for comma X is whatever, something like that. So now when I run this, the grade for Stockton is 100, 100, 100. So I can have a list of names and I can display those names to the user to get, hey, for the students in this class, you have to enter their grade. How do I do that? Well, I need a list of names, which is what this is up here. This is something iterable because it's made up of something else. What?
My name is not spelled correctly.
Really?
How do you, what is it?
It's the same, but no. No, you
Just
have
use
to
someone else's
Oh,
name.
God.
Yay!
Sorry. I can't spell. I knew your name was Brendan. I just can't spell. So, Peter.
Why don't you don't use the times at all?
Right, that's irrelevant now. Again, because you guys were supposed to ignore this. I'm just trying to show you there are things that are made up of other things in code, and in order to loop through something, it has to be made up of other things. I can't say, so if Peter's an individual, I can say for every student in class, get their grade. But I can't say for every student in Peter, get their grade. Because Peter is not made up of students. Peter is his own thing. So Peter would not be iterable, but class would be iterable. Because class is made up of Sonny, Josh, everyone else. Does that make sense? So for blank in blank is how you run a loop, a for loop. I know you guys have questions.
Wait, what does iterable mean?
Iterable means like run throughable. Like to iterate something is to say it.
You can break it down.
To reiterate something is to say it over. And so in coding, something that's iterable means it can be looped through.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. When snack time? Sorry, in like half hour? Yeah, you can make it.
Yeah, you're strong.
Okay, so another thing,
Why wouldn't you do, instead of calling it X, why wouldn't you call it name?
I'm getting to that.
Oh.
This should always be representative of what it is. So like Peter said, so I'm gonna X, jump back a little bit. There we go. So this is a list of names that we can go through. We can also go through, so like Peter was saying, this should be name or student. Up to you. We can type student here. And then we can do for, another one would be, do you guys think, is that iterable?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Why do you say that, Josh V?
Because there's multiple letters, like when you type in the word for, not the individual in the word, it breaks down letter by letter.
Yes.
Separate it out and use it.
Yes. So for X in hello world, print X. So right now I can run through that and I get yeah, you guys got all ones on this hypothetical assignment that doesn't exist. So what it does is it takes on the letter of each. X becomes the letter of the letter in the iterable word. So I probably don't want X to be there. I probably want this to be CH for character or letter. CH is typically what you would use because if I have a bunch of symbols and letters, that's not all letters. So CH is typically the code for character. Print CH. If I have for num in range 10, print num. So that's going to give me all the letters from 0 to 1, 0 to 10 as a number. You could also put number, but either one. You just need to make sure that whatever this is makes sense in relation to this. Otherwise, you will get really, really, really confused. Because if I type in for CH, and now I'm like, wait, why? No, that shouldn't be CH because later I use CH somewhere else or whatever. So this variable here should make sense in relation to this. Another popular one is for lm in a list. lm is element. And so a list can be anything. A list can be a group of anything. But we haven't gotten to lists. That's next chapter. You guys can ignore this though. But lists are really cool. We use them a lot in our game. So technically we're gonna, if we get to it, we're gonna go, what I show you will be lists. There will be lists, but you won't need to deal with them because they're built in. You don't really, they're built in, whatever, it doesn't matter. Do you guys have questions? Is it making more sense? Bless you. Peter.
So basically what it does is it starts with the first thing and then moves to the second one, then the third one, then the fourth, and the fifth one, etc.
Yep, until you're done.
And
So
the number of things defines how many times it runs.
yes. So this can be this right here, like I did earlier. You can have times is an int input. How many times do we run through this code?
7.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, because I didn't change that to times. This has to be an integer. Okay? It cannot be a float. You will get a big error. A float object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Basically what that is saying is if I'm starting at 0 and I need to go to 1.0, what's the next thing I do? What's the next number?
You can't.
Right, because I could go to 0.1, or I could go to 0.01, or I can go to 0.001, or I can go to 0.0001, and if I was somehow able to figure out what decimal to go to after 0.0001, what do I go to after that? Do I go to 0.2, or do I go to 0.00015?
Well,
Exactly.
no. Couldn't you just do like the least decimal place and move by the slowest?
Yeah, but why would I do the
I guess you're right.
logically, why do I go 1.1 to 1.2 to 1.3?
Yeah.
An easy way to go about that is to change this to 10. Print num divided by 10. I think that'll work. No. Times. No wonder it's not making sense because my code's doing exactly what I wanted it to. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Num plus 1. So order of operations comes in handy. So, oh, okay. So, cool. 2 more things, and then we can actually,
Yeah.
oh, we can get to the game, I think. So, 2 things. Two things. So, I need you guys to stop what you're doing real quick. I need you to think. Real world, think about having money in a wallet. Actually, think about how many times, think about having an empty wallet.
That's reality.
Okay, well, yeah, because everything's credit cards now. You have 0 cash. You have 0 cash in your wallet. Wallet is 0. 0 money in your wallet. How many times do you want to receive $5 in your wallet?
As many times as I can.
So times is input. Again, don't be typing. Don't be typing. Just be paying attention up here. Don't be typing, Mikey. So then we do for time or at. If you are doing something only a certain number of times, I'm not going to use x in this code at all. I can do for x in range times. Because I'm not using x, it's not a name. All it is making sure that it runs a certain number of times. Okay? So now think, if I have my wallet, if I were to give you $5, how in your head, let's say we run this code 10 times, right? Josh, answer 10 to this question. How many times do you want to receive $5? How much money at the end of the 10 will you have in your wallet?
$50.
Okay. Well, we're going to code, and how would that work? Every time, so you start at 0, I give you $5, how much money do you have in your wallet?
After one time,
Yep.
$5.
Then I give you another 5.
$10.
Then I give you another 5. Then I give you another 5. Right? All the way up to 50. That's called a running total in code and in life. Does that make sense? The total is running. It's increasing.
Continually updating.
Exactly. That's a better way to put it. It's continually updating.
And it's listed for it.
Okay? Does that make sense so far? If I were to give you $5 10 times and 5 in sequential $5 bills, you would have $50.
Not more.
Your wallet, every time you go through your code, Josh, starting at 0, the first time I give you money, what does your wallet equal at the beginning?
The first time you give me money,
Yes.
$5.
No, before I give you anything, it's 0. So then I give you money. Your wallet then equals what it was, 0 plus 5. So what does your wallet equal?
0 plus 5 is 5.
Okay. The next time I give you money, what does your wallet start with?
$5.
I give you another 5,
Plus 1 is 10.
right? So the way we code that is we say wallet equals wallet plus 5, which we've gone over. I just wanted to reiterate it because wallet is a very easy way for us humans to visualize this. If you start with 0 money and I give you a 5, a 5, a 5, and a 5, and a 5, you have $25. Does that make sense? So at the end of this, I'm going to have essentially 5 times whatever integer, whatever times was. So when I run this, we're going to have $50. There is a shortcut, wallet plus equal 5. So whatever wallet was is going to increase by 5 every time we hit this line. Does that make sense?
Start not for all equals wall plus 5.
What?
For log equals log, that's fine.
What about it?
That's what the shortcut for.
Yeah, this right here is the shortcut for this. You guys don't have to copy this down because we're gonna do it again with something else. So you guys can copy the. You guys don't have to copy the print down, but everything else.
Open up the task manager. You can control all the loops, and it's just like not doing it. Why?
That's not structurally sound.
How many years?
Peter, how come I can't do control of it?
Do you have, is your keyboard working?
Yes.
You have large problems then.
But like, oh, now it works.
When Control Alt Delete stops working, it's not working.
Does this do these two lines make sense? Population increases 4% every year. How many years in the future do you want to approximate the population? Does that make sense just in general?
Yep.
I want to approximate the population in 100 years. And let's do what's our starting population?
25.
25 people? Wow.
25 people.
Okay. So, what's one before I get into the loop, there's one more variable I need to define. Who can see it? Stockton.
Well, how many years?
X.
Wait, no.
Not years. Population. Yes.
Yeah.
So I can do population is 25. Do I need to do something to years right now?
Not yet.
Not yet. So what I'm going to do is for, again, x in range.
Can you integerize yours though first?
There you go. That's what I was about to say. I can either integerize years here, where I ask for it, or I can integerize it in here. Either way works. I would prefer to do it here, because that's just me, but up to you.
Wait, I need to like redo it every time though. You don't put it in.
If you don't put it here, you have to integerize it everywhere you want to do math with it. So correct, which is probably why I recommend up here. Is everyone tracking with me so far? This is a population growth simulator is what we're coding. A very, very, very simple one, mind you. But it's still, nevertheless, that's what it is. Any questions so far?
No.
Stockton, was that
No,
a,
I get it.
was that's, I'm going to fake Mr. Stolter out?
No.
Question, what? No? Okay.
And then I'm like, no, I don't have a question. So I thought it was
For x in range years, we want the population to grow. How does percentages work? So if every year your money increases 10%,
so it's like 110%.
110% of my money, right?
Yeah.
So what is 110% in decimal? 1.1. So I want this to increase population times what?
Population and age. Oh yeah.
What do I want my population to be multiplied by?
1.04.
What? 1.04. Yeah. And then we can print population because we want to see what it is every year. Now, if I wanted to print year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, how do I do that?
Oh, it's like empty number 4.
Nope. I can print year, and then I can go years.
And you can do population, that's the thing too.
Yeah, that's probably,
Just so people know what they're getting.
that's very good, yes. And I don't need that space. So now when I run this,
Wait, we'll ask this thing, right? Population.
What?
You're gonna have to stringerize population.
I don't need to because I have a comma.
Oh,
If I have a comma, I don't need to stringify an integer.
still do that.
Wait, the comma stringifies it for you?
No.
Wait, how does this work then?
Just makes it so you don't have to.
I'm not at. So what I'm doing is I'm giving multiple things to the function print, and it is displaying this thing followed by this thing followed by. It's not connecting them at all. It's disjointed variables and strings. It doesn't stringerize anything. If I wanted to concatenate this,
So the plus concatenates and the comma
I'm giving it commas the universal separator. I'm just giving multiple things to print.
So you're just tossing a bunch of stuff at it.
Yes, that's exactly it. As opposed to saying, I don't know.
Oh, we do years equals years.
How many years do we want to jump? How many years do we want to simulate a 4% growth in our population of 25 people?
5. That's 100.
All right, so we have 30 people.
So why is it year 5 every time?
Oh, why does it say year 5 every time?
Year equals 5 plus 1.
We're having an issue with like fourths of a person.
We are, so we're gonna get to that. Year 5 population. That is our first big mistake.
Add 2020 to it, and then do years equals year plus 1.
Nope. Nope.
You gotta make years a range.
Year. I already have years in the range.
Ah.
Oh.
X. There. Oh, now you're 0. Okay. Well, how do we fix that? There's 2 ways to fix this, but I'm also going to change this.
You can either make yours 0.25 or you can just make it 31.
I can do, so like Josh is saying, I can do one of 2 things. I'm going to copy and paste so you can see both of them. So I can either go from 1 to years. You'll actually technically have to years plus 1. Or I can do year plus 1. These are the 2 ways, and I'll show you the difference.
Plus 2021.
I get this. Oh, it continues. Oopsies, I did not take that into consideration. So they both give me 1 to 5. The difference is my range here. So if years is 5. If I do range of 1 to years plus 1, that's 1 to 6. That means I start at 1, and if I start at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that means it does not include 6. That's one of the most confusing things about range, is that it does not include the last number. So if I go from 1 to 5, if I were to say, tell me all the numbers, Josh, between 1 and 5, you would say,
2, 3, 4.
no, just as a human, give me the numbers between 1 and 5.
Oh.
You'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Right, without thinking number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With
5 is 5 and not less than 5.
Yeah. Most people, when you say, what are the numbers between, from 1 to 5? Maybe that's a better way of saying it.
1, 2, 5 would be 1, 0, 5. Between 1 and 5 would be 1.
If I were to say from 1 to 5, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
With code, it does not include this last number.
So it just do 1, 2, 3, 4.
It would do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why?
I don't know. That's just something you have to memorize.
Because programmers like to do some weird things.
Well, because ranges start at 0 if you don't define it. So range 5 and it has to start at 0, then it can only go to 4.
Yeah.
So that is just something you have to memorize. With this down here, for year in range years, if years is 5, that gives me numbers 0 to 4. So I have to start year plus 1 in order for me to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That range thing is just something you have to live with, and it's something you have to memorize. That's just something you got to do. It, it's like 7 billion. I'm sorry, the reason for it, I can't really give you one because I don't know it. That's just how it is. And those answers in my class, I try not to have them because they suck, but that's just how it is. I'm sorry. Okay, so if we were to run this again, let's say our code runs for 100 years. Well, actually, let's go 20. So in 20 years at 4% growth, we start at 26, and then 27. What do you guys think the best way to get rid of these decimals would be? Because we don't really want to have the 2F. Can you have 0.25 of a person?
Sorry.
Oh, make it integer. Just turn into an integer at the end, yeah.
Here. So if we start at 20, there we go. That's much more. That makes much more sense to our brain.
What's the population growth like formula of the Earth?
Oh, it's like 1%. I think it's like the number of births. I think I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to speculate on that. You'd have to look it up.
Yeah, that's
Catherine.
Well, in my code, it says year 7, and then year 7,
Oh, yeah, that used to be.
It says year 7 and then what?
and then year 7. It doesn't add up to like year 8.
It stops at year 7. Do you type
I typed 7.
for years? Do you define years as an input up here? I'll take. Do you have for here? It only says. Does it only? So for in here, does it say years, or does it say year? Good.
Years.
So if you have years up here, then that means it's all. If you type in 6 and you get 7 for all of them, that means instead of using this placeholder variable, essentially, you're using this one.
1.1.
So if they type in 6, you're always going to get 7 because you have years plus 1, and years is 6 when they type it in. Make sense? Okay. Do you guys have questions? Yes.
Same question.
Same. So this is actually very, very common. So don't. You in this section of your code, do you have years or year?
I used to have years and now I changed to year and it has an error.
Okay, so the reason it's year in my code is for year in range years. So what is your for blank in range years?
X.
X. So you should either change the X to year or the year to X, either one.
As long as you're consistent.
As long as you're consistent, that's exactly it. Notice, I don't necessarily have to define year before I use it. So watch, so for bah humbug in range 25, print, oops. I've never defined bah humbug in this class in my life. At least I don't think so. But my code still works because this variable is not, it's created in the loop itself.
Oh, yeah.
It is not created prior. One last thing. What's the last number in the range of 25?
24.
Bah. What do you guys think bah humbug equals right now at the end of that loop?
Error. It's not going to work because you haven't defined it. You have to do it. What?
It maintains the last number of the loop.
Oh. That value saved.
The value is saved.
Question.
Yes.
Let's say, so you said that you defined the variable in the loop. So if you,
Right here.
okay, so let's say you, for some reason, defined it prior to the loop will change the value, right? It would make it-
So we have bah humbug defined as 24 right now, right?
Yes.
So if we redo this loop, it resets what it was. So new is hello. for new in range 10, print new. And that now new is now equal to 9. It rewrites, it obliterates that. It's like that never existed.
Destroys it.
It destroys it. Like the Death Star in Alderaan. Aww.
Spoilers!
Listen, that movie came out like,
If you don't know that,
40 years
it's
ago.
like people saying spoiler alert for Endgame. That was a huge thing. Have you seen that where they're like,
yes, I've seen it.
and it's like,
Who hasn't seen Endgame?
Okay, so we only have 5 minutes left, so we don't have time to go into our game. So we'll start that probably, we'll
100 years.
maybe do that Monday.
How about we have 5
This is
minutes
someone.
in silence and we just all stare at the wall?
No, I'd go crazy.
efficiency.
Do you- I want to know what you guys are going to have essentially very similar homework to what you guys had over the last 2 days, where you just write loops. Right? Write a loop that displays all the letters in the word hello. Write a smart. Write a for loop that goes through this. Write a for loop that does this. Oh, last thing I forgot. This is in the book, so if you guys have questions, this will be necessary for your homework. So you can always go back and watch the video. That's why I put the videos online, is so you can go back and catch stuff.
So this is all we need to know.
Will this be in student resources?
Yep, all of the code I write in class gets saved to the same location. If I wanted to say, display the numbers, display every number from 0 to 100, every even number, this is how you do it. I can give 3 numbers to the function range. So for num in range, print num. I want every number from 0 to 100. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Every number from 0 to 100. Notice, what does it not include? So if I want, and I will be explicit in your quizzes, I will say from every number including 1 to 100, including 100. So I will make sure that you guys need to include 100 or you do not.
So it's plus 1.
Yes, so I would need to do 100 plus 1.
Or just one. Number plus 1?
I want to include 0.
Oh, okay.
But yes, if I didn't say include 0, you could do 1 to whatever, but I want to include 0. Now, I want every even number. That's not what'll happen is I can give another number to range, and what that will do is it will say, it will start at 0, and then every second number. So if I start at 0,
Crazy.
if I said 0, if start at 0 and count forward every other number, it'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Why is it 100 though?
Because I wanted every number from 1 to 100. Every number from 0 to 100. If I wanted every multiple of 5, I don't know why you guys are packing up. Bell hasn't rang. You guys are going to miss this on your homework, but whatevs. Thank you. If I wanted every multiple of 5 from 0 to 100, what number do I type in?
5.
That's going to give me, it starts at 0 and increases by whatever this number is.
What if you do a bigger number? What if you do decimals or
No.
no? So if you do like 200,
So if I ran this and did this at 200, I just get 0. Because it gives me my starting point, increases by this number, but 0 plus 200 is less than this, so it doesn't display it.
Wait, less than?
It's not in the range.
0 plus 200 is less than that?
No, this is less than 0 plus 200.
Ah.
Now, I can't do 0.5. I can't do this, or maybe, yeah, I can't do that.
Why can't you just put 101 instead of 1 plus 1?
Because if I have this be a variable, I want you to get used to having times plus 1.
Oh.
So if I wanted every odd number from 0 to 100, what would I need to start with? I would change this to 2.
Yep. And then put
What would my starting number be?
1.
That gives me every odd number from 1 to 100.
Is it still possible to include the 0? Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I would just do, no,
No.
because 0 is not an odd number. You can also, last thing, you can count backwards. So I can start at 100, go to 1, backwards by 2.
This makes sense.
So that's how you would count backwards if you were doing a clock. You would start at 60, go to 0, and you would go down by -1.
You can make it go like a base though.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to make that assignment available online. It's going to be very similar to what it was over the last 2 days. And that's it. Hope you guys have a great weekend.
That's it.
Wait, quizzes. Come back for quizzes.
That's what I said.
Where is my mouse?
See a stairwell.